We are Crisis Justice.
We are Crisis Justice Sussex.
We are Crisis Justice at Sussex.
We are Crisis Justice at Sussex.
A grassroots campaign.
Sweeping cuts are proposed at Sussex through something called the Financial Review Guidelines, or FRGs.
We are trying to stop the substance of them being implemented in the here and now at Sussex, and stand in solidarity with those facing similar situations and conditions elsewhere.
We're a grassroots campaign by the three branches of our local campus unions.
UCU, Unite and Unison.
We love our university and our community of workers and students.
Our campaign aims to protect the most precarious,
marginalised, vulnerable,
marginalised workers and students in our campus community.
From the latest cost-cutting measures introduced by the Vice-Chancellor and University Executive Group, or UEG, at the University of Sussex.
The FRGs were introduced by the Vice-Chancellor and the UEG in the midst of the COVID-19 global pandemic.
The FRGs will target the university's least secure workers and students.
We're asking you to support our campaign and the principle of crisis justice,
which proposes that any cuts during a time of crisis must come from the top.
We want to protect precarious workers and students.
And we demand practical, humane and just leadership from the UEG during the COVID-19 pandemic and always.
We are now asking all students and workers inside and outside the university to join us in our public campaign calling for crisis justice at Sussex and everywhere.
From our extensive research and analysis, we know that the proposed programme of cuts includes, but is not limited to:
Number 1, the non-renewal without proper equalities testing of casual and temporary contracts deemed non-essential.
2, the expectation that remaining staff carry the resulting burden of work, on top of already escalating workloads and intensified caring commitments. 3, changes to backfill for maternity and sick leave, without due concern for how this will deepen existing gender and disabilities inequalities.
And 4, slashing funds for postgraduate research students, closing off opportunities for students who are unable to self-finance their education.
These cuts will also further exacerbate existing forms of precarity.
For example, some migrant workers whose employment is tied to visa status could be subject to deportation during the pandemic.
As campus unions, we reject the argument that these cuts are necessary.
Last year, RVC was paid over £300,000. That's 17 times the salary of the lowest paid full-time staff member at Sussex.
Even with the 10% salary reduction the VC has agreed to take and to give to the Student Hardship Fund, this figure is enormous.
This deduction is simply not good enough when the UEG is proposing cuts that target the most precarious, low-paid members of our university community.
The Crisis Justice of Sussex campaign makes the following 4 demands.
1. That the UEG fully and immediately withdraw the Financial Review Guidelines. 2. That no detriment to the pay and conditions for precarious workers and students be incurred. 3. That the UEG implement a maximum 6-to-1 pay ratio. And 4. The requirement that the UEG operate with transparency and consultation.
Don't worry, they're utterly reasonable and can be found in full here.
Go to change.org/Crisis Justice Sussex, all one word.
We acknowledge that COVID-19 brings multiple challenges to the sector and to all of our lives.
We are committed to working with our university leaders to lobby the government for adequate support to this sector.
However, the current crisis should not be used as cover for implementing a drastic programme of job reductions,
which will ruin the lives of precarious workers and the quality of education for students.
In this period, we call on the UEG to follow the examples of a number of our peer institutions
in protecting the entire university community from financial hardship.
You can support our campaign by
signing our petition,
sharing this video and information about our campaign widely with your contacts and on social media,
following and sharing our Twitter account,
Crisis Justice SX.
Or if you are a Sussex student or worker or both, considering contributing a testimonial to help us with our campaign.
We are Crisis Justice at Sussex.
We are Crisis Justice at Sussex.
We are Crisis Justice at Sussex.
A grassroots campaign.
Thank you for watching.